Hello everybody and welcome to this series on learning JavaScript. In this video we're going to be covering everything you need to know and get started with this powerful and versatile programming language. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the basics. JavaScript is a high-level, dynamic and interpreted programming language. It is primarily used for creating interactive and dynamic web pages, but it's also used for server-side applications, mobile apps and even desktop software. Using the code above, as you can see, it simply displays Hello World in the console. This is a common way to test your JavaScript setup is working properly. Next, let's talk about variables. In JavaScript, you can declare a variable using var, let, or const keywords. The difference between the keywords is the scope and the ability to reassign the value of the variable. Here, we declare a let variable with the value John Doe and a const variable with the number 30. We use template literates, denoted by these backticks, to display values from both variables. If we run this, we can see that my name is John Doe and that I am 30 years old. Now let's talk about data types. JavaScript has several data types including strings, numbers, booleans, objects and arrays. Here we declare variables for different types including strings, a number, a boolean, an object, and an array. Next, let's talk about control structures. In JavaScript, you can use if statements, for loops, and while loops to control the flow of your program. In the example on the screen, we have an if statement. We have an initialized score at the top here of 75, and then we're going to loop through here using this if statement and say if the score is greater than or equal to 90, we're console log A. Else, if the score is greater or equal to than 80, console log B, and so on for 70, for C, and otherwise it will be F. So if we save this and run, we should get C. This piece of code you see on your screen is a for loop. So what we're doing when initializing I, we're saying I is equal to 0, and then we're going to say if I is less than 5, run the loop, and then we're going to say I++. And whilst this is running, we want it to console log the I out. So if we save and run this, we should get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't get 5 because we're saying I is less than 5. And lastly, we have a while loop. This is doing the same as the for loop, and we can see here we're initializing I before the while loop. The while loop is going to loop through if I is less than 5, and inside the while loop, we're then going to increment this number here. So if we save this and run, we should get the same output as before, 0 to 4, because we're saying if I is less than 5. Finally, let's talk about functions. Functions are blocks of code that can be reused and take inputs as parameters. Here we define a function called greet, and it takes a parameter called name. And inside the function, we're going to console log hello with the name here, inside this template literal. So if we were to run this piece of code, we'll see Hello John Doe. And we can reuse this as many times as we like. And we can run this again, and we should now get Hello John, Hello Tony, Hello Mike. So that's a great way of reusing code. And that's it for the basic of JavaScript. There's a lot more to learn, of course, but this should give you a good foundation to start from. In the next video, we'll be covering more advanced topics like arrays, objects, and functions in more detail. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos for learning JavaScript.